A lonely hero, hunting machines all by herself.
Hello? I have friends, you know.
Let's do this!
Right.
Greetings all, it is I, Eurogamer's Ian Higton here, and as Eurogamer's resident Horizon mega fan, I have been tasked with comparing scenes from the first chapter of the upcoming LEGO Horizons adventure game with similar sections from Horizon Zero Dawn, the game what's inspired it. And it's all wrapped up in a lovely little preview of the first hour or two of gameplay of LEGO Horizon Adventures. But be warned, there are plenty of spoilers for both games within. Oh no! A dinosaur! Oh! So, if you didn't already know, LEGO Horizon Adventures follows the story of Aloy's first outing, but in typical LEGO fashion, it family-friendlyifies a lot more of the adulty story beats and trims off a lot of the fat. So, for example, right at the start of the game, we see a LEGO version of Rost holding baby Aloy. This is similar to the original Prologue cutscene in which Rost talks to baby Aloy, but in the LEGO version, this prologue is all narrated by Rost himself.
Watching Aloy grow over the years, helping to hone her skills, filled him with great joy and satisfaction.
Children, come with me. She's an outcast, to be shunned.
It's at this early point that we find out that, in another family-friendly move, Aloy and Rost's harsh outcast status from the original game is severely downplayed here and merely implied.
And since orphans in stories always bring trouble, that made the villagers a little nervous. So the mysterious child was raised outside of the village by the hunter Rost. He named her
Aloy! Aloy!
In an excellent move from the developers of LEGO Horizon Adventures, the entire prologue section that features potato-faced preteen Aloy has been completely cut out, presumably because there was no way to make a LEGO figure look as annoying as this.
Start training? Yes. Follow.
Instead, the prologue narration briefly covers Aloy's motivations for the game before we get thrown straight into the action.
Where had she come from? Who was her mother? And why the heck had she been left in the mountains? Questions only Tirsa, the old lady who found her, could answer. So let's join Aloy as she embarks on an epic adventure on the day she travels to the village of Mother's Heart for the first time.
In the original version of Horizon, you don't end up visiting the town of Mother's Heart until about 3 hours into the game, but in LEGO Horizon Adventures, that is your first goal. Although, because the baby Aloy section of the original got cut, there are a few short training sections to get through first that cover the basic mechanics for climbing and bow shooting.
Even after years of being hit, the target still hadn't learned to move out of the way.
What you'll also notice in this gameplay is that LEGO Horizon Adventures is way more linear than the open-world game that inspired it. Or at least it is in the first chapter that we previewed anyway. Instead of an open map that lets you wander around willy-nilly, there's lots of little out-of-the-way areas to explore instead, which often contain rewards like extra studs or this here chest.
Rost always said, the wild reward the curious.
There's something shiny there.
The most interesting part of this section is how the discovery of Aloy's focus device is treated. In the original, the terminally aggravating child Aloy finds the focus on a dried-up corpse after falling into a cave. The guarantee that death awaits us all is probably a bit much for the younger LEGO audience, so the developers have changed this up, and instead, Aloy is given her focus by Rost in this short scene.
I have something for you. A strange device Tirsa found next to you when you were a baby. It's called a focus?
I won't ask why you've kept it from me all this time because I'm just too excited. Gimme! Huh. Does it go like, looks like it goes here.
Well, come on, I've waited years to find out what it does.
Whoa. I can see stuff shining on those targets. Like it's telling me where to shoot. Hot shot!
In this next section of LEGO Horizon Adventures gameplay, you'll notice that Aloy is shooting her bow through a bonfire in order to create fire arrows that burn through parts of the scenery. And also here in a later section from the first chapter, where Aloy explores Cauldron Sigma, you can see that by shooting her arrows through electricity, they absorb electrical energy that can be used to activate switches and open doors. That means, at least going by the first chapter that we played, there will be no scavenging and crafting of things like fire or shock arrows, and instead players will need to use the environment to their advantage.
We keep our tools and parts by the tree.
It looks like scavenging and crafting is out for every other type of upgrade too. This menu for upgrading equipment that is accessed via the All-Mother tree in Mother's Heart shows that all upgrades for Aloy and her gang are bought with studs. Each upgrade comes with 3 tiers and each tier costs more than the last, so get schnaffling those studs whenever you see them. By the way, just in case you were wondering, just like in the original, in LEGO Horizon Adventures, Aloy can stealthily take out enemies and observe their routes and weak spots by crouching in clusters of that classic orange long grass and using her focus ability. Combat seems much easier in this game though, and as such, stealth seems to be treated as an unnecessary afterthought by the impatient soul who recorded this footage.
It's under attack.
They're taking people away. We have to do something.
We're too far away, Aloy.
Look,
LEGO Horizon Adventures Prologue ends with a cutscene that puts a very different spin on Aloy's introduction to the town of Mother's Heart, as in the original game, she heads there to take part in the Proving, which is an event that simply doesn't exist in the LEGO version. Instead, in this cutscene, we see the town under attack by Eclipse cultists who take various Nora tribe members captive, including Tirsa, the High Matriarch of the Nora tribe.
We have to help her.
come on, let's find out what happened.
No. Yes.
The only scene that seems similar to this, from my limited knowledge of the original game, is when corrupted machines attack Mother's Heart during the Womb of the Mountain questline.
By the goddess, what's it doing to them?
We're taking control.
Following that cutscene, in LEGO Horizon Adventures, another big difference between the games happens, and that's the introduction of co-op play. Plug in a second controller and a pal can take control of Rost as he and Aloy attempt to rescue the kidnapped Nora from the cultists.
Right where I wanted it.
Got no friends? Don't worry, that player too will be taken care of by an AI.
Oh, an old world wreck.
The next few sections of Chapter 1 in LEGO Horizon Adventures sees Aloy and Rost make their way through more linear areas. This time, though, there are smatterings of old-world architecture to be seen. Once again, combat is nice and simple, and stealth seems very optional. And after rescuing a cage full of Nora, and also a zombie cheerleader minifig for some reason, the action cuts back to Mother's Heart, where we meet fashion icon and resident town stitcher, Teb. In the original game, Aloy doesn't recognise Teb when she arrives in Mother's Heart,
I don't know you.
but in the LEGO version, they seem pretty familiar with each other from the off, and Aloy quickly helps Teb rebuild his shop, which is where players will be able to customise the looks of both Aloy and her co-op partner. Following this interaction, Aloy and Rost head off to rescue more of the captive Nora, and this kicks off a wonderful linear sequence that follows the pair as they clamber up old-world buildings as a Tallneck strides along in the background. At the end of this set piece, Aloy is able to hop from the top of a building and onto the head of the Tallneck, where she grabs a gorgeous golden brick. In the open-world sections of the OG Horizon, clambering up a Tallneck clears a section of the map and shows undiscovered points of interest, but due to the linearity of Horizon Adventures, a nice shiny treat like this seems like a good compromise.
God
Now, remember that attack at the Proving that I mentioned earlier? Well, that's where we first meet Helis, the big bad from the original game, who mercilessly slits Aloy's neck, which, to be fair, is probably something you don't want in a family-friendly game. So instead, Helis is introduced in a cutscene as a hologram where he divulges his plan and urges Aloy to search for both him and the hostages.
I am the terror of the sun!
Oh, okay, let me guess. You must be the cult leader? Why did you attack Mother's Heart? It's just a peaceful village.
Nothing must stand in the way of the sun. I will scorch these lands and create a paradise of no shade.
Sounds very sane. Look, you get one chance. Let the prisoners go.
No. You have to keep searching for them. Eventually, you'll find me, and I have a special surprise planned when you do.
Swallow the bug. Remember, use the wilds to your advantage.
After an extended bout of platforming and combat featuring battles against Grazers and the Eclipse cultists, Aloy manages to rescue Karst, who, in the original game, sells Aloy her tripcaster.
Last time I visited, you had a tripcaster available for trade. Still got it?
I do. But you'd need to bring me a scrapper lens.
Karst seems to have a slightly larger role in LEGO Horizon Adventures, as here he's the town handyman. Rescuing Karst then unlocks building customization in Mother's Heart, where you can change the roof, yard, plot, and colour of its huts. I'm pretty sure you couldn't customize buildings in the original game though, and although this footage only shows Horizon-based customization options, one thing you definitely couldn't do in the OG that you can do here is customize the buildings with bits from other LEGO IPs, like, say, LEGO City and the Ninjago series.
Aloy. Survive.
Okay, so if you've gotten this far into the video, you're probably wondering how Horizon Adventures deals with Rost's death, considering there's no proving ground scene and no cultist ambush. Well, as you'll probably remember, in the original, Rost gets blown to bits after pushing a passed-out Aloy down a cliff, saving her life in the process. In LEGO Horizon Adventures, something similar happens, but in true LEGO fashion, these tragic events have been sanitised and made slightly safer for younger eyes. After rescuing Val from another cultist cage, a cutscene kicks off where Rost is tricked by a decoy dummy of Tirsa, and this kicks off a chain of events that ends in a slightly more comedic bout of self-sacrifice.
Helis 1, Redhead 0.
Who are you?
I am Helis!
No!
And once I deal with you, I will fill the world with sunshine! Deserts everywhere, mandatory sunbathing, and... You always do this, boss. I'm right in the middle of my speech.
Eliminate the girl
Hey,
now.
the girl has a name.
See, this is why nobody takes me seriously as a villain. I can handle this.
Your hand is on fire.
Your hand's on fire. Wait, what? Put it out! Put it out! I'm on fire! I'm on fire!
I'll put you out.
I'm not touching you.
Guys? Guys? Yes! Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Guys!
Aloy!
Rost.
Huh? Goodbye, Aloy. I will always be with you.
Me too. I get. Huh?
No, Rost! No, 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 no!
Rost.
And that, in case you were wondering, is how I got the narrator job.
Welcome back, Aloy. I think we're finally ready to bring back one of the most important parts of Mother's Heart.
That's not the end of the first chapter, though. Once Rost heads off to Narration Heaven and Val is returned to the town, another new structure called the Community Board is unlocked. The community jobs listed on this need to be unlocked with gold blocks, and it looks like completing each one will reward you with yet more gold blocks for your collection. As an open-world game, the original Horizon has plenty of side missions to complete, so it's probably a good bet that the community jobs act like the side missions, but with a slightly more linear, Lego-y vibe. Like this first one here that asks a player to build and then eat at the town's feasting table. We don't see too much in terms of story beats in the rest of the first chapter, aside from an extended action section that takes place in a nice little Lego version of Cauldron Sigma. In the original game, this is where Aloy fights a Bellowback and then gains access to override information for a number of other machines. The Lego version, however, simply culminates with Aloy grabbing yet another precious golden block.
Treasure time!
You did it!
That has to be Tirsa down there.
This leads us to the final section of Chapter 1, where Aloy finally rescues and meets Tirsa. Before Aloy can free Tirsa, though, she finally has to fight a Corruptor, which, as I mentioned before, first appears in the original game during the Womb of the Mountain questline, where it attacks the village. Rather than corrupting other machines like it does in the original, however, in Horizon Adventures, this Corruptor just seems to spawn in the occasional standard broadhead instead, deploying some easily readable attacks as it does so.
Move down right now! You guys saw that, right?
Huh, that weak part isn't so weak.
And that's about it for this comparison of Horizon Zero Dawn and LEGO Horizon Adventures. Let us know in the comments below if you're planning on playing the game when it comes out. Do like this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to Eurogamer for almost daily videos about video games, and then why not check out one of these other lovely videos that are on screen and clickable right now. Goodbye, Aloy.
Ooh, should have brought my swimming trunks.